Day 19 of this escalating conflict, ladies and gentlemen. Before we dive into the latest brutal developments in the U.S.-Israeli coalition's campaign against Iran, I need to hit you with something straight. If you're watching these updates and finding value in real-time, unfiltered analysis of one of the most dangerous geopolitical flashpoints in decades, then you owe it to yourself and to the thousands suffering right now to hit that like button, share this video with everyone you know who needs to stay informed, and subscribe right now with notifications on. Don't just consume. Help amplify independent coverage that cuts through the noise. Your support keeps these breakdowns coming daily, free from corporate spin. Do it now. Lives and futures depend on people staying awake to this. Okay, let's get into it. Welcome back to Conflict Brief HQ. If you thought this war would wrap up in a matter of days or weeks, think again. We're now deep into week 3 of Operation Epic Fury, and the momentum is shifting in ways that could define the Middle East for generations. Since our last briefing, the coalition has delivered what is arguably the single most devastating blow to the regime's internal control apparatus, beyond even the initial decapitation strike that eliminated Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei on February 28th. In the early hours of March 17th, Israeli precision strikes took out Ali Larijani, the secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council and the de facto leader steering the country through the chaos since Khamenei's death. Larijani wasn't just any figure. He was the architect of the regime's most ruthless crackdowns, including the horrific January repression that claimed tens of thousands of lives in mere days. Killed alongside him was Gholam Raza Soleimani, often referred to in reports as Gol Raza Soleimani, the commander of the Basij paramilitary force, the very militia embedded in every neighborhood, mosque, and university to enforce obedience through terror. These two men were the iron fist holding the Islamic Republic together after the supreme leader's elimination. With the newly, quote, elected Supreme Leader, Bashar Bakarani, likely a reference to Mujtaba Khamenei or a placeholder in the power vacuum, the Revolutionary Guards, IRGC, and Basij had filled the void. Losing Larijani and Soleimani at this juncture is catastrophic for regime cohesion. This strike fits into a broader, under-the-radar parallel campaign the U.S. and Israel have been running, systematically dismantling the regime's domestic repression tools. While headlines focus on nuclear sites, missile bases, and air defenses, coalition forces have increasingly targeted law enforcement stations, Basij headquarters, IRGC internal security units, and the infrastructure that keeps dissent crushed. The goal? Degrade the regime's ability to suppress its own people enough that organic uprising can finish the job, without a full-scale ground invasion like Iraq 2003. But let's be clear-eyed, this doesn't guarantee imminent collapse. The IRGC and Basij have long dispersed into civilian areas for survivability. Soleimani was reportedly hiding in a paramilitary tent camp when the strike hit him. The Guard's provincial structure is built for resilience, semi-autonomous units that can function even if central command is severed. Top leaders and physical assets are gone, but rank-and-file forces remain capable of brutal operations. The real test is coming fast. Right now, as we record this on March 23, Iranians are defying regime bans to celebrate Chahar-Shambeh Suri, the ancient fire-jumping festival, with bonfires and fireworks in streets across the country. Early reports show widespread participation, but crackdowns are underway. Sustained gunfire in Tehran's Chitgar district, plainclothes arrests around bonfires, clashes in Karaj and Mashhad. Videos are flooding out despite internet restrictions. The bigger flashpoint looms. Nowruz, Persian New Year, starting March 20, and celebrations extending through the coming days. This is Iran's largest public holiday, historically a powder keg for protests. Last year, dozens were arrested nationwide during Nowruz, even in peacetime. This year, The regime is on life support, repression tools are shattered, and the population is emboldened. If mass gatherings turn defiant and security forces fracture or hesitate, we could see tipping point unrest. The coalition's theory? Cripple oppression machinery, let the people rise. But the men with guns, the IRGC hardliners, aren't folding quietly. Evidence of internal fractures. In early March, President Pezeshkian, likely a stand-in or misreported figure amid chaos, publicly apologized to Gulf states for uncontrolled missile launches, a rare admission of weakness. The IRGC ignored him, continuing barrages on Bahrain, UAE, Qatar, and beyond. They were reportedly furious at any perceived backdown. This exposes the guards as an ideological Praetorian guard, willing to burn everything to preserve the regime. Iran's retaliation has backfired spectacularly on the regional stage. Pre-war, Gulf states, despite hosting U.S. bases, lobbied Washington against strikes, fearing spillover. UAE rebuilt ties with Iran. Oman's FM was in D.C. with Vice President J.D. Vance the day before war erupted. They preferred containment over conflagration. Then, Iran launched over 1,800 projectiles at the UAE alone since late February, hitting Fujairah's oil zone, bypassing Hormuz pipelines, forcing Dubai airport chaos with drone strikes near fuel tanks. Similar devastation across the Gulf, civilian infrastructure targeted, economies bleeding. The shift is seismic. Emirati Minister Reem Hashemi went viral, blasting Iran's unhinged attacks on civilians, declaring, independent of how this began, the retaliatory measures is really where the issue we have. Our relationship with the United States doesn't falter in moments of crisis. Bahrain called Iran treacherous. Bahrain even sponsored a UNSC resolution condemning Iran, passing overwhelmingly. The GCC invoked UN Charter Article 51 for collective self-defense, reserving military response rights. Privately, Gulf capitals tell Washington, finish the job, cripple Iran's military permanently. In 3 weeks, Iran turned its last regional defenders into active backers of its destruction, one of the most self-sabotaging foreign policy blunders in modern Middle East history. Now, the economic choke point, Strait of Hormuz. 20 million barrels of oil daily transit here. Iran's conventional navy is largely sunk or disabled, but IRGC shore-based anti-ship missiles, Bandar Abbas, Keshem Island, fast attack boats, and disguised Shahed drones keep the threat alive. Regime messaging is chaotic. One statement vows to block the strait entirely. Another claims it's only closed to U.S. and Israeli ships. Global petrol prices have skyrocketed. Goldman Sachs models show Qatar and Kuwait facing 14% GDP contraction if closed through April. UAE, Saudi hit hard too. Trump demanded warships from 7 nations to police it. Europe largely refused. This is not our war. Allies are wary. Trump warned we'll remember who didn't help. Meanwhile, the southern front rages. Israel has 3 divisions in southern Lebanon, pushing through key areas south of the Litani, evacuations covering approximately 14% of Lebanon, displacing nearly 1 million. Operations modeled on Gaza, no Beirut push yet, but some ministers float semi-permanent security zones or even turning Dahia into Carthage. Lebanese President Joseph Aoun stunned everyone, called Hezbollah's war entry a trap serving Iran, warned of Lebanon becoming a second Gaza, floated ceasefire, LAF disarmament oversight, direct Israel talks, border security. Unprecedented. But LAF commander Heikel stalls on disarming Hezbollah, fearing Shia fracturing the army, Lebanon's last cross-sectarian institution. U.S. suspended some LAF coordination. Hezbollah keeps launching, though depleted. The regime clings on, but cracks widen daily. Strikes continue, retaliation persists, streets simmer. If this briefing opened your eyes to the stakes, the potential for regime change without boots on ground, regional realignment, global energy shock, then prove it. Like this video right now, share it widely to spread awareness, and subscribe to Conflict Brief HQ with the bell on for daily updates. Your engagement fuels independent analysis in a world drowning in propaganda. Don't scroll away. Act. Hit like, share, subscribe. We'll be back with more as this unfolds. Stay vigilant.